Listen. Welcome to the LME live streams where I go through Letterboxd, pretty much jot down all of the movies that I've been watching from the past weekend that have been released. Maybe put some recommendations on your guys' list, but also a little shout out to the chat. So if you guys have any recommendations, definitely let me know about any of them as we go through them. I'm going to be answering some of your questions later on in the live stream as well. But pretty much, I want to break down all of the stuff that I've been watching this past weekend. Starting off with a little Sundance hit that I finally got the chance to watch, and I just realized also that I spelled it wrong in the title, but that is Dick Johnson is Dead. So if you guys haven't seen this movie, it's a documentary over on Netflix that comes from Kristen Johnson, who she's a pretty good documentarian, I guess you can call it, but pretty much she has this movie about her father that talks about all of the stuff that is like leading up to his death. I don't think he's actually passed, but pretty much she goes through all the variations in which he might die and pretty much makes a whole movie about it, which sounds like the nastiest thing in the world, but it's actually pretty hard hitting. A lot of my friends were able to catch it over at Sundance, and I was able to catch it this week because it's over on Netflix. I personally really liked it. It's one of those movies where out of nowhere it ends up getting you and like you're in tears. But if you haven't caught this one, first one to put on your radar, Dick Johnson is Dead. Like I said, it is over on Netflix, which a cool thing about Letterboxd, for those of you who've never been on Letterboxd, they do this really cool thing where on the side, you can just click the where to watch services and it'll tell you where it's available. So, this is a Netflix original, but sometimes you can actually catch some of the other movies to see if they're playing on anything else in particular. But I would highly recommend Dick Johnson is Dead. Even if you don't have a pop-pop, I think this is one of those movies that definitely gets into just the breakdown of mortality, and you're having your father figure there and how they push you. But first one I recommend right there, Dick Johnson is Dead. I personally would give it 4 stars. Another one that I caught was a little movie called House. See if it pops up over here. This is a movie that revolves around Christmas. I was able to catch this one recently as well, and it's a film that, without spoiling too much of it, you pretty much have these two neighbors who decide to go over as hosts for Christmas to the next door neighbors. That said, their bodies may be hosts to something else. It comes from Richard Oakes and Adam Leader, and I've never really seen any of the other stuff that they made. I think this is their first feature film, but I really enjoyed it. If you're into like a bunch of religious iconography and like the idea of demons taking over and how that works in the hierarchy of, like, I guess, the Bible, I found this one to be pretty interesting. Their merch is also hilarious. They don't have it over here when you look at the title, but the sweaters that they were selling actually do convey one of the biggest scenes in the movie, which they don't spoil in the trailer. So I will say it has a pretty good trailer to go check out. But if this one is something that interests you, I would highly recommend it. Hosts, again, a little possession movie dealing with demons on Christmas, and it kind of talks about all the stuff that Christmas has been used for, other than what it's supposed to be used for. But Hosts, I'd highly recommend a nice little October movie now that we're in the Spooktember. Another movie that I have over here looking at, actually, Kajillionaire. I don't know if I actually rated Kajillionaire on here during a live stream. I don't even know if I spelled that one correctly. But yeah, I did. Kajillionaire is not out in VOD. I think it's out somewhere else. I forget what he does. I think it's not in theaters still, but theaters are also closed. If you guys saw the news today about all the Cineworld, all of the Regals are closing down. So that's terrible news. But I mean, I don't know how they're going to pivot over to VOD, but this is a movie that was out in theaters. I was able to catch it back at Sundance, and I think it's a pretty good movie. If you haven't seen any of Miranda July's other movies, I think most people would call them quirky. But if you search her up, she's got these funny interviews about how she purposely tries to do things that nobody else would do. It may not be for everybody, but I personally really like Kajillionaire. I thought it was pretty funny. And sadly, the description that you have right here kind of spoils it. Kind of spoils one of the best jokes in the movie. But it's a really interesting movie dealing with family. And I personally really love the ending to this one. Maybe too quirky for some, but I would highly recommend that one as well. That's a Sundance pick that was up there. Let's see. One of the other ones that came out also from Sundance that I was able to catch is a movie called Save Yourselves. See, a lot of the crew was able to catch this one over there, but I barely caught this one this weekend. You may know some of these actors. I know this dude is over on, it was a TBS show, now it's on HBO. Maybe some of you in the chat will help me remember what that is. But she is in Glow. And Glow just got canceled, which freaking sucks. But rest in peace, Glow. It's streaming, so I feel like they might bring it back for something else. But Save Yourselves is pretty interesting. If you've seen Vivarium, it kind of covers all of the basics that Vivarium covered when it deals with like a, I guess, millennial couple trying to like detach themselves from the devices and like cope with all of the responsibilities they have to take on. And then there's like an alien invasion that's going on there as they're trying to disconnect from their devices. Again, it is like the comedy version of all the themes that Vivarium covers. But I actually really liked this one. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. Had some funny jokes in there. And I keep seeing yeast starters and different things that that I keep watching. So I feel like it's only a matter of time with all this quarantine that I'm gonna have my own yeast starter that I'm gonna be working on as well. Let me see. Search Party. Thank you, Pink Sweets, for the help right there. He is in Search Party, which I was watching over on TBS, but the ads were so annoying. I was already paying for the service through my Comcast thing or whatever I have. I don't even know if I have Xfinity anymore, but they got moved over to HBO, and now I can finally watch the series. I think they're on their fourth one for Search Party, another show that I think is really good. And you can watch on HBO Max without all the annoying ads. Let me see. I got a couple more to go through, and I'm going to be answering some questions over on YouTube, just seeing some of the other stuff. Will this be on YouTube after the live? Yeah, I usually, all of them get unlisted over on a little playlist. Let's see. Wait, Glow got canceled? Yeah, sadly it did get canceled. I hate that I was literally prepping all of the different movies that I was going to talk about on this live stream to go through. And then I get the news that Glow was canceled, so that really sucks. Literally just read about Glow on Reddit as you were talking about it. I know it sucks. Let me see. Let me go through some other ones to put on your guys' list that I was able to catch that I thought were pretty good. Then Came You is a little movie. Is it even on here? This one right here. Then Came You. I was watching this, didn't even realize it was Craig Ferguson who was in it, but pretty much it's a little road trip movie that's got some pretty good turns within the film. It's a nice little comedy. I thought it was decent. If you haven't figured, I use these little LME streams to just be able to log my movies, because without this, like, if you look at my actual profile over here, and this is Letterboxd because I always get questions on what I use with the LME streams whenever I do these. It's Letterboxd. I think it's pretty dope. You pretty much are able to log in all the movies that you have. Problem is that I watch a bunch of movies. I just forget to log them. So this will really help in like actually logging the movies in. But yeah, this was the movie I was just on. Then Came You is a nice little comedy. 3 stars. I feel like there's a bunch of references to older movies within this film that I didn't fully get, but I haven't sat through with the interviews on stuff. But and if it interests you, check out this trailer for Then Came You. Another movie that's out there, I guess another Sundance one. Or Scare Me, I think is what it's called. I Can't Save Yourselves, which I preferred. But Scare Me is another one. It's a little anthology that's out, starring Aya Cash, who I know a lot of people are really liking right now. With her performance in The Boys, a lot of people were crushing on her, and then they realized what she was playing. But this is a little anthology series dealing with like them trying to tell different scary stories. I would actually recommend this other one called Tales from the Lodge, though. Let's see, pull this one up. This was one that I caught at South by instead. Also does the horror thing. And I actually enjoy this one a little bit better because they're all in a cabin, and pretty much all of the horror stories that they're trying to tell each other to scare themselves, very much just like Scare Me, I feel are done better. And the actual storyline of all of the friends who are camping together in this lodge, I think crescendo into something that's a little bit better. Just another one to put on your radar right there. Another movie that I saw, or another movie that's out this weekend, is The Glorious. If you have not heard of this movie, another one from Sundance that comes from, as you can see, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It should be a really dope movie because it's about Gloria Steinem. But the thing is that they have 4 different actresses who are playing her. You have, let's see, Julianne Moore is playing the oldest version of her, Alicia Vikander. I know Lulu Wilson played a younger version of her. And pretty much there's a bunch of techniques that the movie does because it comes from Julie Taymor, who's done these films over here. But I wasn't expecting like these crazy, sequences from across the universe in a biopic about Gloria Steinem. It does go through a lot of stuff dealing with all like the pivotal moments that she did in her career. But I know Mrs. America is out. I haven't finished Mrs. America, but I think there's a lot of moments in Mrs. America that actually dive into specific moments that the movie just brushes by because it's a little bit over 2 hours. But again, it's got 4 actresses who are trying to play parts of her life. And I do think those moments are really interesting, but throughout they do these crazy transitions that are just, I don't know. I felt they were like way too over the top. But The Glorious is out there. I know at Sundance they said they were saving this one to actually be released during the what's it called? The election. It is that time. I'm not sure where it's available. I guess it's maybe available on Amazon Prime, but that's another one. If it interests you, that's out there. A couple of other ones, and then I'm going to look over on the chat. Someone had said, have you seen Supernova? I have not seen the trailer for Supernova. I did get to catch the trailer for WandaVision, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's decent. But another one that I would put over here, I don't know why I can't see it. This is a super small movie that I caught called Los Angeles. It's very interestingly enough, it won the award, for its a crazy title. It won the award for the best movie with the budget that costs less than an Oscar bag, which an Oscar bag, I guess, costs $100K. But it's a little interesting movie, taking into account the $100K budget. It's pretty much a dude who wrote, directed. He did everything in this movie. His name is William Wayne, if I'm not mistaken, just to double check over here. Yeah, William Wayne, writer, director, stars in it as well. This is like the most indie budget version of Under the Silver Lake. In Under the Silver Lake, as you know, he goes crazy looking at all this stuff just because he feels that someone went missing. Same thing's going on over here. You pretty much just got the screenwriter who is trying to make it big into the industry. He gets his little fiance. Everything's all going well. She's also an actress, wants to make it into the business. But then what they do is just like a similar scenario, a real life scenario that they mentioned within the movie, she goes missing as a publicity stunt to be able to get their movie to get more attention. Then she don't return. It's pretty interesting. It jumps around a lot, but again, I assume that's just on the budget side of it. I know that it took the guy like 7 years to make this movie, but it was a decent little independent noir movie. So if you're interested in this one, I would check it out. It's called Los Angeles because her name is Angela. She's lost, but it takes place in LA. Let's see. Someone said, did you ever get the chance to watch Stakeland yet? I have not seen that one yet. Someone had said, ooh, what's my favorite movie or TV show? Always Lost. What's a good movie to introduce horror to someone? That's a great question to ask. Personally, one of my favorites is The Others. I'm a broken record when it comes to that one, I would highly recommend that one. The Others. Let's see. One of the other ones that is out, though, Do Not Reply. Sticking to horrors. I have 4 more. Then I'm going to get to some questions. Let me log in. Do Not Reply. This is a movie pretty much in the vein of if someone texts you, they are probably catfishing you. They're not who you think they are. Do not reply. I really like the performance by Jack Rathbone. See if you guys know who this dude is. Oh, he's a lot of toilets for sure. It's very over the top. I'm not saying it's a fantastic movie, but his performance is pretty much this dude who, like, he shoots VR and he's got the girls, their outside time is VR and he's like holding them all ransom. But at the same time, as he murders people, he's capturing it in VR so it could be something. It's a bonkers little premise. It doesn't really do anything different because in terms of like trying to know how you should not be replying. I think anybody would, if you don't know that you should not be replying to random strangers, I don't think this movie's going to change your mind. But if you think it does, definitely put it out there. But again, I think Jackson Rathbone probably gave a crazy performance. Like that man definitely became the dude he was trying to be. And it says some interesting things about VR, but this is another one that I caught in case you guys were interested in another horror movie. Vampires versus the Bronx. So I'll look over here. Someone said, LME, have you watched Haunt? I have not seen Haunt, the movie, I think. There's a film called Haunt. I have seen Enola Holmes. I will be making a video on that one. But Vampires versus the Bronx is also a Netflix movie. This comes from Oz Rodriguez, and I think the dude Lorne Michaels, who created SNL, who like runs SNL, he kind of helped out with this movie. Not Deez's, but Mero is in this movie as well, if you follow the Bodega Boys. And it pretty much is about a bodega that's going to go under, but they decide to, these little kids over here decide to make like a little fundraiser for it. And it's a movie that talks about gentrification and a bunch of stuff, dealing with all the shifting that's going on over in New York with a lot of people getting pushed out. But it does it from the perspective of the gentrifiers being vampires. Sarah Gadon plays one of the vampires, and Sarah Gadon is absolutely stunning. Nobody even bats an eye on her being one of the people who's trying to push people out. Shea Wiggum is another person who runs the real estate agency that they pretty much refer to as being bloodsuckers. It's a cute little movie. It doesn't do anything way too over the top. There's some cliche moments here and there, but it's pretty enjoyable. I'd give it a stream. It is on Netflix, so it's perfect to stream. But if you were interested, thought I had some little funny jokes in there, and it continues to be one of the movies that covers, gentrification. I'd say Blind Spotting is one of the best dealing with that subject. But Vampires versus the Bronx, if you wanted to see the, kid version of it. Someone had said, do you have any Halloween recommendations besides the others? Right now, I am actually going through a lot of anthologies. I'm watching Tales from the Hood. I'm watching, what else was I just got, actually, now that you mentioned that, I actually got Shudder, so I should be asking you guys what recommendations you would have from Shudder. Shudder, if you don't know, is a streaming service, literally just horrors. Like, that's all they have there is horrors. And I've been trying to catch up on a lot of stuff that's over there. Spiral was one that I caught recently, and I actually really enjoyed this one. It's a couple who moves into, they called it the suburbs, but this thing looked like a rural town. And pretty much they're a gay couple who's living there. And it's kind of got like a little bit of Get Out, in where, this town, everyone is in sync, and they pretty much like, they do these weird things, but no one really knows what's happening. And you're following Malik, who is working on his book, and he's pretty much at home all the time. And I really enjoyed the movie. That was one of the first ones that I caught over on Shudder. I thought it was pretty decent. But if you have any recommendations from Shudder, definitely hit me up about that, because I've been watching. Here's the other one, Creepshow. I was like, what is the other anthology one? Creepshow. Alina's never seen this one. I've never seen the second one, but I'm going to be watching this one this week. And I'm trying to go back and do a lot of little recaps to some like iconic horror films, and Creepshow was one of the first ones. I know the Mortuary Arbor, thank God I have it right there. Mortuary Collection was another film that I was able to catch at Fantasia, and I believe it is coming to Shudder. This is what started my anthology binge recently. Pretty much there's two people who are at a mortuary, and they're trying to like one up each other on these horror stories that they each have. And Jacob Elordi is in here, and he plays someone who's pregnant. Like, he himself gets pregnant. It is a crazy anthology that I believe, again, is coming out, going to be coming out on Shudder. So if you have any other Shudder or any other anthology stuff that you recommend, definitely hit me up on that. I know everyone always says American Horror Story. So that's going to definitely be one of the ones that I need to catch. Let me see over here. The last couple of ones that I have is The Boys in the Band, which they're not in a band. But The Boys in the Band, I believe, is a play. Yeah, based on Tony Award-winning play. It's based on a play, and you could definitely feel it. I've been saying this about a couple of other ones that have been out. I think American Son is what it's called. That was on Netflix. That was a play, and it's movies that are interesting, right? But I'm really big on the medium, and you could definitely tell when something is meant for a specific medium and it doesn't really translate to another. So this definitely feels like a play, just like a bunch of other ones that try to do the adaptation over. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It was enjoyable, but it is interesting to see how like the purpose of the play, specifically when it came out and when it takes place, how so many things have changed. So it's like, do people embrace it the same way? Some of the stuff that should be provocative isn't as provocative now. But again, it really is set up to be a play that is shot to be a motion picture, but everyone is coming in their cues, and it feels very stagey, but it is over on Netflix, I believe. And they got some interesting banter that they go on. I know some characters were swapped from what their original characters were supposed to be, and that may be pretty important considering the topics that they dive into. But curious to know people's thoughts on The Boys in the Band if you were able to catch it. The last couple of ones that I had was Let's Scare Julie. This was hilarious. I think this has something to do with an older movie that was also titled very similarly, but pretty much they're all trying to, it's a group of friends who are all trying to scare their friend, but one by one they all just start disappearing. Yeah, that's pretty much all this movie is about, but to put it on your radar, it's out there. I also had no idea, but the Adlins are, Odessa Adlin is the daughter of, if I'm looking over here, Pamela Adlin, who some of you may know from, what was she in recently? King of Staten Island. She also has her own show, which I don't think they shows on Letterboxd, but she has her own FX show. She was always also on Louis C.K., and she pretty much, like, she's got 3 daughters who are all killing it right now. Gideon was in Blocker. She was in The Society, another Netflix show that got canceled. She's doing work there. I don't know which one of the Odessa was the other one, and I know they have another sister, so the whole family is acting. So that was a little side bit that I learned from watching this movie. But again, if you want to see a little prank movie, I thought this one was pretty decent as a prank film. And the last one that I have over here is 12-Hour Shift, another Fantasia one. Lino caught this one. I was able to catch the beginning of it, so I'm not going to fully log this one. But pretty much this one was at Fantasia. Brie Grant was on a roll. Like, she's in this movie. I know she directed another movie that was at Fantasia. Has yet another movie coming out that I think is at Fantastic Fest. So Brie Grant, she's someone to look out for. But pretty much it's a 12-hour shift. So this lady decides to take drugs in order to pull this double shift. And then the craziest stuff ensues, all taking place in this hospital. So if this is one that's on your radar, if you like horror, I think this one is on Shudder as well, or is coming out on Shudder if I'm not mistaken. I guess it's only available for purchase right now, but I heard it was going to come out on Shudder. So if you wanted something dealing with like a horror movie dealing in a hospital, another one to add to your radar. Looking to see if I have any other movies over here that I may be missing. Let's see, I mentioned Host, Kajillionaire, Scare Me, 12-Hour Shift, Glorias, Then Came You, The Boys in the Band, Do Not Reply, Let's Scare Julie, Vampires vs. the Bronx in Los Angeles. I think those are the only ones. I just started Monster Hunter or Monster Land. There's one on Hulu. I'm not exactly sure what it was called. Someone had said you should do Marvel Runaways. I think this one is on FX. Definitely one of the shows that I want to catch up on. Let's see. Hey, man, give us a hint of your next video like the title. The next one that I'm working on right now is I have a tax collector video that I'm working on, New Mutants video that I'm working on, the Fantasia video that I'm working on. I have a fall like must-watch video just going through all the other stuff that came out in September, a little bit in August as well. Weathering with You. Yeah, that's another one that I'm working on. And The Babysitter, because a lot of people requested The Babysitter and Enola, I think, were like my top ones from Netflix that people were recommending. So I have a couple of ones in the works. Hopefully they don't get, copywritten and taken away, but we'll see. Any recommendations after watching The Endless? If we're talking about the same Endless over here, The Endless is a movie that comes from Moorhead and Benson, who do have an upcoming movie as well. I really like this one. It deals with like time loops and makes it very personal as well. It's got all the sci-fi elements there, but I really like the relationship that they create with the friends. And again, this is a movie by Aaron and Justin, and that is Aaron and Justin on the screen. They have an upcoming movie called, looking for it, Synchronic. I did not get to catch this one over at TIFF. Zach was able to catch it, and I know they were supposed to be releasing it in theaters. It's not fully coming out in theaters. It's going to come out, I think, on VOD a couple weeks afterwards, but I'm not exactly sure. This was one of the ones that I really wish I caught because now I feel like I can't catch it. But in terms of The Endless, I would recommend Resolution, since that kind of has to do with what they go through in the movie, and the movies are actually kind of connected. If I can think of any other ones, I'll definitely talk about it. I'm thinking of ending, or I'm thinking about ending it was pretty good. It's called I'm Thinking About Ending Things, right? I'm thinking of, I forgot what it was called. I'm thinking of ending things. I'm in the midst of reading the book right now, which I know is a little bit different because it's actually like it's got a concrete ending as opposed to what the movie does. But oh man, I've been binging Charlie Kaufman interviews like crazy. This man's on another level. Like, he's one of those guys where even if he makes a movie that may not be for me, I may not absolutely love it. I love what this man stands for. Like, he's just out there making the greatest things. And I'll definitely be working on a full video for this. And just spoiler alert, this is at the top of my must-watch for September for my little fall one. So definitely, I would recommend it. But if anything, I would say hopefully it opens you up to some of his other movies. Like, maybe these may not be the best ones. Maybe it opens you up to some of the stuff that he's written. I would recommend Eternal Sunshine. Being John Malkovich is hilarious. But yeah, he's done some great stuff. Adaptation, probably one of the best ones. Let's see. Talking about time loops, have you watched Dark and your take on how it takes inspiration from Steins Gate, which is an anime? I have not seen Steins Gate, but a lot of people have recommended that one. That's been on my list for a little bit. I did a little review for Dark over on the channel. I absolutely love Dark. I think it's a masterpiece. I would have to watch Nine Gates to compare it to see what it takes and whatnot. But I really love how they take one premise, one time loop premise, and you think like that's what it's all going to be built on, and then they answer all of the stuff that would usually be a paradox by them bringing in something completely different. Another thing that then answers all those questions, and you realize there's two different things that are going on. But I would highly recommend Dark. Let's see. Devil All the Time is so good. You should totally review it soon. I actually was able to catch this one and also just got done with the book, Devil All the Time, which fleshed out so many other things. One of my biggest issues with the movie, and I know I sound like a broken record with this, but it's that it should have been a miniseries. And that's only because the guy talked about, and the director is great. Antonio Campos, he did Christine. He's done Simon Killer. Like, I think he's done some interesting stuff. But the problem is that even at 2 hours, there's still like 100 and something pages that were cut. But it is shot on film. He talked about how he had to cut the budget from a lot of the other departments in order to be able to shoot it on film, which is an interesting thing to see. I know Tom Holland is first billing, but the dude don't come out till 40 minutes in. But it is a very interesting movie. A lot of stuff is missing from the book, and I think it would have fleshed it out more, or if, they would have had 4 episodes to work on it. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was an interesting movie that talks about religion and how that in and of itself, it becomes these cycles that end up going from a generation to generation, but how religion and violence are almost like intertwined to many people, and how violence in and of itself can become a religion to some, and how that gets passed. Let's see. Did you watch Yes, God, Yes, said Anna? I did. This was one that I had recommended over on our South by video, and I know now that it's out, that's definitely one to put on people's radar. Yes, God, Yes stars, what's her name from Stranger Things? Natalia Dyer. Pretty much it takes place over at a religious outing, like a youth, I don't even want to call it like a youth camp, but while they're there, she realizes that she can go and instant message on the pastor's computer. I think it takes place in the 90s or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but I know for the Q&A, the director talked about how this was very much based on a lot of the stuff that she went through growing up in religion, and I thought it was a pretty funny movie. I know it may be sacrilegious to many, but I thought it was a pretty funny movie. And like I said, I had mentioned it in our South by video. Have you heard anything about the Last of Us series? It's def maybe horror-ish. Yeah, I know that this is made by the dude who did Chernobyl. So I'm excited for it. Usually I'm kind of skeptical when it comes to taking something that, again, like we just mentioned earlier with the mediums, something in where it's meant to be played, but now they are changing it and switching it over to these terrible things to put right there. Craig Mazin is insane. Like, this man started off by writing like the Hangover movies. Now he's doing Chernobyl. The man is now working, like we said, did they not put Chernobyl on here? He should be the writer of Chernobyl. Producer of Chernobyl? Not exactly sure why Chernobyl's not popping out, but it did pop out on the credits for right there, I guess, as producers. But yeah, it's the guy worked on Chernobyl. He did a whole podcast for like Watchmen as well. So I'm excited for the series. It's going to be very interesting to see who they cast, though. Let's see. How about Run? I have not been able to finish Run, but I know that they canceled it for a second season, so maybe it'll pop up over here. Run. Ooh. A little sidebar. Run by Anish. I know this one's coming out. This is from the Searching Boys. I think this one is getting a Hulu release, so this is one that I'm definitely looking forward to. But I know the other run you were talking about is the HBO series. Sadly, it got canceled from the second season. I know Zach, my Intercut podcast host, he liked it a little bit more than I did, but I have to finish it before I get my full thoughts. Have to finish it. Let's see. Shuman said, I wanted to ask, maybe I'm out of the loop, but what happened to the A to Z show? Sorry if you already made a video explaining it. If you can point me to that. I mentioned it in live streams, but pretty much the same thing that even happens with Let Me Explain. A lot of stuff gets like hit, which is really interesting because Haunting of Hill House just sent me a package. But my video for it, the original one, actually got hit. So it's really just a balance of like a lot of stuff was getting hit and a lot of stuff was getting copyright stricken over on the A to Z show. And then I realized like a lot of stuff wasn't even appearing. So that pretty much is the basis to it. It's been on hiatus for a while, but it is something that I will bring back in some capacity. But again, even with Let Me Explain recently, with a lot of the hiatus that we've been taking with the videos was because all the trouble that we got with the When They See Us video. Some of you may have seen that stuff. It just pretty much just slashed everything. Like when they tell you that they stand for something, but then you make a video about that, you realize really quick the only thing that they stand for is money, and like it affects a lot of stuff. Like I can't even imagine. Like I just cover movies, but if I cover a movie that has a certain subject matter, YouTube goes crazy. So I can't imagine being a journalist who how discouraging it may be to try to cover stuff that you know you want to cover and maybe even need to cover, and yeah, you get flagged for it. So I guess that's the short answer of it. Samantha says, have you seen Ratchet? I have. This thing's supposed to be 4 seasons. I know it's not going to come up over here. So probably check it on the IMDb. This is the Nurse Ratchet season 1 of 4, coming from Ryan Murphy, who I know a lot of people like because he's done the American Horror Stories and he's done a bunch of stuff like that. I absolutely love Sarah Paulson. I think she is the best part of the show. I even like the actress who plays Nurse Buckets. I just think they're all in different shows. It's a very slick, beautiful looking show that, again, if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, that is on Netflix. Highly recommend that. This is the prequel, talking about how Nurse Ratchet becomes Nurse Ratchet. And I think season 4, I do want to make an LME for this, but I think in season 4, it's supposed to combine all the prequel stuff that creates who is Nurse Ratchet all the way up to what the movie is talking about, which, again, the movie is even based off of a book. But, again, I really like a lot of the performances here. It gets a little goofy sometimes. It gets a little crazy. But, again, they have 4 seasons that they want to work with, so we'll see how that goes. Have you seen Lovecraft Country over on HBO? I have. I am only on episode 5, and I have not caught 6. But that's one that I do want to also sit down with the book. Excuse me, because I know there's been some changes with it. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty cool. I think the effects are pretty dope. I think the only thing that I've been very critical of, wrong Lovecraft, is the music. I think some of the music's pretty on the nose, but I love all of the actors involved. And I would recommend this when it's over on HBO. Another one that I've been watching on HBO I just started with, is Raised by Wolves. I'm on the first episode. I don't know what you guys think about this one, but Raised by Wolves, it starts off with, what's his name, who did Prometheus? So, of course, he's going to, like, want to do something with Prometheus, or dealing with, like, creation and stuff. Ridley Scott. Pretty much you have all these androids who landed somewhere else, and they have their own children in this, like, faraway planet, I believe, and it's a little weird. I think they look funny because, tell me these people don't look like the people the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fight. Like, they make the costumes look a little bit goofy, but then they have some crazy effects in it. So HBO right now is killing it. I know they also have what's the name we did? Watch me take my long way here. The guy who did Call Me by Your Name, Luca. He has, where's the show? We Are Who We Are. I was also watching this one over on HBO. Jack Dylan Glazer, he's pretty much in an army camp, and he's just trying to fit in. The army camp is also in Italy. Interesting little show. I haven't finished this one yet, but I'm curious to see what people's thoughts are on this, because I believe this is like the first full show that he's working on before he hops back into movies for Luca. Let's see. There's also, yeah, there you go. Thanks, Ivan. Right there, what I had said. Have you seen Cobra Kai? I have seen Cobra Kai. I did a video on the first season. Might even do a recap as season 3 comes out. I'm really happy that Netflix picked it up. So again, it's interesting to see that Netflix is the people who usually try to save series, but who saves the series from Netflix? All the stuff that's been canceling recently. It'd be funny to see YouTube Premium pick up their shows, but I am a big fan of Cobra Kai. I enjoy it, so I would highly recommend that one. Let's see. Have you seen I May Destroy You? I have not seen that one. I like that we're keeping on the HBO train. I May Destroy You. I have not finished this one, I might say. But she had the ability to go to Netflix. But Netflix wanted to own the series. And she said, nah, I'm straight. I took it to HBO. So this is one that when I sit with, I definitely, if we don't do something over on Intercut with a Let Us Explain, definitely want to work on a Let Me Explain for this one. She's talented. Like, I think she also had, what was her Netflix show? Chewing Gum was her Netflix show. I know she's been in a couple of other things. So, I mean, she's been killing it. Sneakerheads. I have not seen Sneakerheads. I think that one's over on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's a TV series. Bro, tell me why I've been called out as many times. I did not realize Andrew Bachelor's name was Andrew Bachelor, and that's why it's King Batch, even though when you cut it out and you get rid of the E, it would be Bach. But I was just laughing at that because people were still commenting from I can't remember what movie he was in, but I learned my lesson. I'm working on a babysitter video right now. Batch. It is Batch. Have you seen Lovecraft Country? Someone said The Boys is the best show out at the moment. I would agree. This is one of my top ones that I'll be mentioning over on the must-watch video for fall. I was able to get this one early for season 2, so I saw that in the interviews they were talking about how they actually have a short film that's going to come out with it, dealing with Butcher for the moments that he wasn't there at the beginning of it. But if you have not got The Boys, is over on Amazon. Also would give this one a big thumbs up. I think season 1 may be a little bit better than season 2, but I've also been reading the comics, which are all over on Hoopla. If you've never used Hoopla, connect your library card. You got so much free content right there. But I've been really enjoying this one. I think it's fantastic. Highly recommend checking it out. See, Frederick Marvin says, have you seen some good comedy series lately? Recently, I've just been catching up on a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm, so I guess I would just say Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I know Schitt's Creek, which won all those Emmys, which we'll be talking about in the Emmy video this week. They dropped season 6, I believe, really early, so that's a completed series right there over on Netflix. Curious if you've seen #Alive. I have, and I know a lot of people have been recommending a video on that one, so I will be probably working on something, but I want to do a double up. So I'm trying to, if you guys have any recommendations on similar movies like Alive or movies dealing with social media, because I really like how they use that in the film, to do like a double feature LME on that one for sure. Let me see over here. One of the other ones, I guess we're dealing with TV shows. I don't know if they all come up or pop up over here for the TV shows, but another TV show that I was watching over on HBO. See if I have it over here in my notes. Probably wasn't even on HBO. It might have been on Hulu. Even open that up. Someone had said, have you seen I'm Thinking of Ending Things? Yes, I have. Did you know that Translucent wasn't in the Boys comics? Yeah, they do a lot of interesting things to switch out in the movie, which I think is, or the TV series, which I think is interesting. Sometimes a little too on the nose. I don't want to get into spoilers here until I make the video, but I think they're doing a good job on what they're adapting and what they're not. Let's see. Have you ever did a cameo? I've never done a cameo. Someone has said cuties. Oh, the cutie scenario is crazy. So when I go to Sundance, look through everything on the list. And I make sure that when I go to Sundance, I'm not leaving Sundance unless I've seen everything that I want to see. That said, I did not leave Sundance watching cuties. I do think that Netflix absolutely butchered the stuff that was going on with the movie. But, I feel sorry for the director. I know a lot of people are just dragging her completely, but she actually had a short film version of this that does not get into all of the sequences that a lot of people do not like from Cuties. And I have not sat down and seen all the Cuties. I know Alina did, and there's a lot of shots in there for sure, but it does have a story dealing about sexual exploitation. So it is ironic, everything that happened with it. But if you're worried that people aren't concerned about the kids, I guess the backlash was part of it. I know it then got really political, and then I just didn't feel like making a video on it because I didn't care too much about the movie to begin with. So I just felt that a lot of people were just doing it for clicks. And I think the funniest part was the people who were cutting up the images from the movie or the sequences from the movie and then uploading them. Like, weren't you just saying that was something bad and now you're uploading it? It's crazy. Movie Man Ethan said, your first video I ever saw was Hereditary. It changed my life. Damn. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for watching. Nicholas, let me explain. I'm actually working on this movie. It's actually a series that's now been adapted for HBO, so I'll be working on that very soon. Have you watched FX's Atlanta? Hiro Murai has to be the best. Yo, Barry right there, going even a step further. Atlanta is one of the best shows. I want to say on television, but it's not. It hasn't been on for a while. And Hiro Murai, I'm glad that you shouted that man out because he's done not only some of the best episodes in Atlanta, but the dude is a visionary. Like, I can't wait to see him do more feature films. But I know he did the Teddy Perkins episode, if I'm not mistaken. He also did that thing with Guava Island, which I can't really call it a feature film. It looked gorgeous. It looked beautiful. But him and Gambino have been working on some great stuff together. He did the video for This Is America. And I want to see him do more stuff, He did a couple of episodes of Barry, some of the best episodes of Barry, some people would argue. But highly recommend anything from Hiro. Definitely recommend Atlanta. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to come out with the next season, but I don't think they ended it. I hope they didn't end it. It's still got the hyphen there, so hopefully it still continues. Someone said, try watching Eerie by Mikal Red, by Bust by Eric Mati on Netflix. Be sure to add those. Let's see. Jack says, been watching his videos since Umbrella Academy. Appreciate that. Hey, did you know there's going to be a new Monsters in Godzilla versus Kong, like Mecha Godzilla, and a new monster called Warbat? Nah, but that sounds pretty dope. Massimo says, I haven't seen Tenet, but wondering if you've seen it. No spoilers. I have not seen it. I want to see it in the theater, but like none of the big theaters near me were hosting it in 70 millimeter. I think the Navy Pier IMAX. It's the thing with Nolan, bro. The last time Nolan had a movie, the Navy Pier IMAX was cleaning up. Like they were installing a brand new system to their theater, so I couldn't see Dunkirk in 70 millimeter. Now there's a pandemic and I cannot see because now it's officially closed. Like that thing has just been closed the entire time. So like if I was gonna risk myself to go see it, I would have seen it in the best possible format. But they don't really have the best possible format out right now. I know everything that happens within it, but I've been comparing Nolan a lot right now to, believe it or not, Eminem. I feel like Nolan has gone so far as wanting to make every single one of his movies so complex, right? I'm not saying that it's not enjoyable because, again, I haven't sat down with the full movie, and I know the purists are like, you cannot review this movie if you see it in a drive-in or a small theater. It's got to be the 70 millimeter. So, yeah, I'm waiting on it. But I know everything that happens in it, and it's just like overly complicated for no reason. But that's just me right now. I'll make sure to go even bigger into it once I finally see it. Let's see. Someone has said, thanks for recommending Searching, for sure. I'm looking forward to see what the Searching boys have next now that they're working on Run. And I know someone, I guess, to mention here, just to log it in case I don't make a video on it. See You Soon was actually one that a lot of you were putting on my radar because I'm not sure what country it's from, but pretty much it's very similar. It's got a very similar style to Searching. I know this one's over on Amazon Prime if you wanted to go check it out. Also dealing with it, so everything is on the computer screen. Someone says, Brie Larson wants to know, have you seen Captain Marvel? Yeah, we talked about it the other day, and she said she really liked the video that I worked on. Watch Utopia on Prime. This is one that I believe, is it a series? Is it a miniseries? I've not started Utopia yet. Let's see. A group of young adults. Gillian Flynn? Gillian? Oh, I am catching this. Whoa, why nobody's... The writer of... Oh, my gosh. Oh my God, I got to wrap this thing up and go watch Utopia. I had no idea she was the main. All right. I love Gillian Flynn. I read Gone Girl. Love the work she did in Widows. Obviously, she wrote Sharp Objects. Sadly, I forget what the third book was, Dark Something. They ruined the movie on that one. But I think her books are fantastic. I had no idea she created this show. Oh my God, I might have to go watch that. Thank you for explaining Super Dark Times for me. Got confused at the ending, but your video explained some theories about the... Oh, appreciate that, man. Let's see. I think I saw you once on the train. I get that a lot. Usually it's like people who are in the theaters who are like, I want to say hi to you, so I'm saying hi to you in DM. I was like, yo, feel free to say hi. Have you seen Schitt's Creek? If so, do you recommend it? I did a little bit over on our LME Listens video when we did a fundraiser. A lot of you guys had recommended that one, and I went to go check it out. I think it's funny. I think it's funnier with every season. I don't know if it was worth all of the Emmys, but it is a funny show. Let's see. Let's wrap up some of the other stuff over here. Hey, did you know there's going to be a sequel for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Yes, and I'm extremely excited with the success that the first one had. Hopefully, they go even crazier. Have you been watching Fargo? I take it you're talking about the series. I have not caught up with the new one. A lot of people are hating on the new one. I'm not exactly sure why. But I've only seen part of the first season, and I absolutely loved it. FX... talking about anthologies, and I'm in my anthology binge right now, maybe one of the ones that I have to catch up on, but, FX has this. It also has American Horror Story. So they've been killing it with the anthology game, series-wise, but I have not caught the newest season, but I've heard mixed things about it, but still have to make up my own mind on it. Let's see. My friend said that Tenet is a movie that is trying to be smart and has a cool concept, but is just over-complicated like a lot of his movies. That's what I've been hearing a lot. Let's see. Have you seen The Platform? Yes, sir. Got an entire video over on the channel. Have you seen Infinity Train on HBO? It's a no, but let me see what this is about. Ooh, an animation. All right. Various people find themselves in a mysterious train with an endless number of cars, each one its own universe, and must find a way to get home in this animated anthology series. Wow, that's definitely one that I need to check out then. I have not caught that one, but for sure. Someone had said, have you watched Euphoria? Absolutely love Euphoria. I know that they had to pause filming right now, but season 1 is absolutely fantastic. I was actually just listening to a bunch of songs from Labyrinth, who helped on the score, or I think did the score, mastered the score, really. But Sam Levinson, like, he came in and just killed it with the show. I think season 1 is perfection. I'm very curious to see where they take season 2, but I had to actually re-record a lot of the stuff from the Emmys video, because I always say Zendaya and I know it's Zendaya, and I'm not messing with the Zendaya fans. They will murder me if I were to have gotten that wrong. So I have to go back and make sure I fix that. Are you planning on watching No Escape? What is No Escape? Let me see what this is. Ah, No Escape, but it's also titled Follow Me. Interesting. I've seen this poster. I know about Follow Me, but I know it also had a different title. I guess they changed the title. It's interesting. Make sure to keep that one on my radar. Let's see. Also, can you watch La Casa de Papel? It has some of the same actors as Elite, and it is one of the most popular shows of all time. Oh, trust me, that has been one of the most requested ones. I definitely have to get to that one. Someone said, you should watch The Gifted, a Thai series. Definitely. Always welcome to some more international stuff. Someone has said Raised by Wolves. You give it, hey, let me know. Is it thumbs up? I just started it. I thought it was a little funky, a little weird, but I'll keep with it if you recommend it. My sister is bugging me to watch American Horror Story. I don't know if I should. I've also heard a lot of good things. Hey, if your sister recommends it, maybe I should be starting it as well. Have you watched La Juaria on Amazon Prime? I have not. Let me see. Is it a movie? Is it a show? I'm seeing it pop up. Is it the pack? Could it be the pack? Yeah, I believe. Oh, yeah, right here. After Blanca's disappearance, a desperate search begins for whoever has her before it is too late. All this while integrating various current issues. Interesting. Another show to add to the list over here. I know 2 of the shows that I'm finishing right now is hopefully a lot of autofills, because I don't remember what the end of it is. I don't think it's Monster Hunter, but there's a Hulu show called Monster something. That one's also an anthology, like I said, that I've been binging. And also Haunting of Hill House. They literally just sent me the episodes for season 2, so that's something that I'm going to be binging all this week. As we're working on more videos, and now that the channel's a little bit more stable with all the copyright stuff that we got hit, and literally I got to make a whole video just to break down what all that stuff that happened in early August too. But Haunting a Blind Manor is going to be something that we'll be working on soon, hopefully getting all those other videos out as well. But I'll be sure to add that show to the list. Let's see, Romantic, answering a couple more that I'm going to head out to go binge these series, said, I think you might like Woke on Hulu. I was able to catch 2 episodes. A lot of people were grilling it. It was very interesting to see people who were like bashing the show for certain things that they then do in real life. But Woke was interesting. I know it's based off of an actual cartoonist who kind of went through a similar thing where he felt that his cartoons didn't need to be so political, and then he went through something and he realized, like, wow, I'm actually kind of being used, if anything. And I think that's the most interesting aspect of it. Some of the jokes when always said, it's very, I don't want to say the word surrealist because it's not that, but it's very like he talks to a lot of his own cartoons. I'll say that throughout the show. It's got some funny moments and a lot of goofy moments as well. But I have not been able to finish the show yet. But I know this one is over on Hulu. Someone had said, what is the best movie you think you've covered? Well, I haven't made a video on Space Jam yet, but when I make a video on Space Jam, for sure. Parasite and Whiplash, those are my 2 favorites that I always go for, that I recommend. Thoughts on Jake Gyllenhaal? Love him. You should do a Let Me Explain on Tenet. Definitely will do. What are your go-to streaming services? I actually have a whole video if you search up an LME on streaming services, and I get my top ones. But right now, HBO, I think, is the best quality that you have. I'm going to say Criterion for the people who want to catch some like classic films. They do a bunch of really great stuff there. Breakdowns even included in the Criterion channel. And then to be completely honest with you, I just got to say Netflix just because of the abundance of stuff that they have. Someone had said A Ghost Awaits. They caught it at UK Fright Fest. Another one that I need to have over on my radar. Did you end up watching Snowpiercer show? I gave up after 3 episodes. I have not, but damn, Anna, that does not sound like something I want to hop on. The Midnight Gospel though is one that I caught one episode on. I really enjoyed it. I've not been able to get the chance to just sit there and vibe with the show, just be able to watch it. But I know a lot of people like Midnight Gospel. That's definitely one that I want to sit down and just enjoy. HBO's doing a remake of Roald Dahl's The Witches. I think Anne Hathaway is in it. Really? HBO's doing a lot of stuff right now. Again, I just said that they were one of my favorites, but they are doing, I know, the Batman series, and they are doing a Suicide Squad series. I don't know if they're trying to split their stuff between HBO being something and then HBO Max being other stuff. Don't quote me on that, but I really hope they still keep the quality game, because that's what they're known for. Ooh, Robert Zemeckis is doing this. Damn. You said Anne Hathaway, Octavia Spencer, Stanley Tucci. I mean, yeah, this looks like it's going to be massive. And it's coming out very soon. I've not even seen a trailer for this, but yeah, this will be something I need to keep on my radar. Let's see. I'm going to answer a couple more, and then we're good. Someone said, Dios mío, I saw a Monster Hunter poster while you were searching. Yeah, they are working on a Monster Hunter movie, I think it is. It's going to be a movie, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Hey, do you think you're ever going to the theaters that have been reopening to watch new Warner Bros. Movies that are coming up? Well, sadly, everything got pushed. They just pushed, I know Universal pushed No Time to Die because they said literally no time to die. And now they have Dune just got pushed back. So I think all theaters are closing. I was able to go to some drive-ins, but yeah, in terms of movie theaters, sadly, they're just not there. What's one movie genre you will absolutely not watch? I'll watch a little bit of everything. I don't think there's necessarily one that I would not watch. If anything, I really tried to pivot the channel over, and definitely want to, even more so, push it so that, my whole rating system is not so much that you should skip a movie. The very rare coaster rating does pop out, but it's more so that I feel every movie should be given a chance, just because something may be a stream it for me, maybe a must watch for you, but... Trying to think. I learned like a funny joke here. Be like, but the one thing I will not watch is these type of movies. No, I can't really think of one. Thoughts on Steve Carell departure from The Office? Juan, this has been something that's been on my mind for a while. It wasn't as great when he left. That's it. A movie that I found pretty fun was Ready or Not. Yeah, I'm so glad people are finally catching up over on this one. We have a full LME over on the channel, but Ready or Not with Samara Weaving, I thought it was a pretty good movie. And she's also in The Babysitter. If you're a fan of The Babysitter, I would say this is an even better horror starring Samara Weaving. Definitely check that one out. But let's see. To wrap this up, I know I always say I'm going to do these Mondays, but I definitely do want to stick to doing these on Mondays. To actually, also be able to log on all of the stuff that I want to over on the channel, over on the LME. But again, my highest recommendations were Dick Johnson, which I have to fix on the title as well. But Dick Johnson is Dead. Highly recommend that one. Gonna leave you guys with these 3 picks for the week. Dick Johnson is Dead, I thought was absolutely fantastic. The other one that I said was Hosts. Very small independent movie over here that I thought they got the nuances. They got the whole, idea of demons and how they truly are. They can be seen as almost as a disease, It's not just like a possession, but it's also kind of like a virus that's being spread. I would highly recommend this one over here as well. And then last but not least, just to keep a funny, scary movie over for you guys, Save Yourselves. If you saw Vivarium and you thought the little kid was too annoying and the themes were maybe a little bit too much, this approaches it in more of a comedic way. So again, Save Yourselves, Hosts, and then Dick Johnson is Dead, which is over on Netflix. Highly recommend those ones. I thought they were pretty enjoyable. But other than that, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this or any other movies. And until next time, I'm going to see you guys later.